Obviously, a very stable West Side. What are your impressions of where you guys are in totality through the first few days?
For the first 2 days of camp, I'm pleased with kind of the development of some of our depth. We're getting more and more of that. You know, the second group isn't exactly the Devo group like it used to be, right? Or the true freshmen, right? We've got some really talented young guys that are learning how to play Division I college football and Big Ten football. So that's been one of the goals of camp, is to develop that gap or that depth. And that's what we're trying to accomplish. So, been pleased with some guys' performances. Been pleased with kind of the first group, and the guys repping in with the first group have been very consistent. You know, especially in the run game, I've been pleased with some of that. You know, we've got to get better at some protection stuff, and but that's what training camp's for. That's what fall camp's for, is to push each other to get better, and to kind of continue those fundamentals so we prepare for a great year and really do our part to up our offensive output and production this year.
What's the depth chart look like at right guard? I mean, are there like 3 or 4 legitimate guys? Or?
Yeah, there's some legitimate guys. We've got good competition on that right side, and that's what we wanted when we first set out to kind of build this thing. And you know, there are guys getting reps with the ones, with the twos, with both. And we're trying to find the right guys to fill in those spots. You know, we feel like we've got 6, 7, looking for 8 and 9 guys that we can really trust in a situation, because you always need that during the year. Right? You look back, we were very fortunate last year. We were relatively injury free. And we did have a guy like Jordan that could come in and help us in those situations and swing and things like that. So we always need more than you have. We're always trying to develop those guys, but we do have some young guys that are coming up pushing for travel spots, pushing for playing time. We got guys that now are getting an opportunity. Guys like Slaughter and Agetsky that are pushing for an opportunity. So it's been fun to see, and it's a good competition. But it's not close to being over yet, and we got a lot of camp here still left, and I'm excited to see. I'm excited to watch the film today. I thought we had a decent day, and I'm excited to see what we do in our scrimmages leading up to Toledo, and we're getting better each day.
Is there kind of a drop-dead date when you want to know who those 5 are that you're going to roll out there for Toledo?
No, I probably wouldn't tell you an exact date. We want to have our something finalized here as we get closer to game prep and we start going into more of the scouting work and things like that. But we've got a pretty good idea of who's going to be in those rotations and who's going to be the guys that are taking the majority of the snaps against Toledo, and then we have to continue to get other guys ready, because again, everybody's one play away, it's a really eventful camp, really exciting camp, and really competitive camp, and it's making those guys play at a high level.
What do you like about what Zai gives you at right tackle, and how's he kind of adjusting to that opportunity?
I really like a couple things with Zai. Number one, he's got a year under his belt, a year experience. He did play tackle, before he got to us, so it's kind of knocking off the dust for him a little bit. He's got great length, and he's trimmed. He's changed his body a little bit, and so his mobility's increased. And I think what you're seeing with him is football got taken away in the spring. It wasn't nobody's fault, but things happen, like in injuries and things, and so I think that developed a hunger in him, and you've seen a maturity with Zai that maybe, I don't want to say it wasn't there, but he didn't have to show that as much, being a new guy coming in last year. And so you're seeing leadership grow, you're seeing maturity in the whole group, right? I mean, you lost guys in the last 2 years. We've lost Palcho V, Kramer, right? Pilstrom, right? Some of these guys that have kind of been stalwarts for us and took that leadership role. And now you're having some new guys that are very talented, that are capable, Julian, Isaiah, that are stepping up to rise up to that leadership role. And Zai is part of that discussion. And so I've been very pleased with how hungry he is, how purposeful he's practiced. And I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Brett mentioned recruits at center. Is there things that you can do with him that maybe you haven't been able to do the first 2 years, especially in the run game, just because of how athletic he is?
Yeah, Kurtz is incredibly athletic. The thing that I think gives him a tremendous advantage, if anybody he's playing, is he's so football savvy. His football IQ is incredibly high. He sees the game well. He can articulate and make calls. He has an experience of a guy well beyond maybe the reps he's actually taken in a game. And obviously he's got a great lineage and has been around the game his whole life. And so that helps him. And I think we've been able to really kind of expedite some of the install, and some of the advancement of our offense, because we feel and trust that we've got an experienced guy there. Maybe more so than you'd anticipate somebody that hasn't taken a lot of reps.
Brett mentioned Brandon Henderson the other day. Is he atypical in how ready he is as a true freshman?
I think anytime you get a true freshman lineman come in and have that type of production, or have the type of really development that he has, is unique. It's special. A lot of times, if you think about the nature of the position, you got an 18-year-old kid that has not been in a collegiate weight program, has not been in a collegiate nutrition program, and he's going against potentially a 23-year-old or 24-year-old guy that's lifted for 5 years. And we hit every play. Every play we hit somebody, and that's the name of the game. So speed is kind of speed. Strength takes a lot of time to develop. Nuances and understanding the game, the experience of the game, it takes a lot of time to develop, and I think the spring helped him tremendously. It gave him a kind of a boost and a head start with most freshmen. But Brandon is very special. He's very motivated. He's very driven. Wonderful character. Works incredibly hard. And while at times I think there's a lot coming at him, he handles it incredibly well. Like, his maturity is beyond his years. So I'm very, very excited to see where he can go.
I'm not suggesting that he's going to starting lineup or something. Is there something where you would say, I don't care, you're a freshman, no, I can't put you in the mix, in the rotation pieces, or is it everybody's different?
Yeah, I think, well, if you're the best player, you're going to play. Freshman, senior, whatever, right? And I've been to other programs. I was at FAU and played a true freshman left tackle. First game against Nebraska, and his second game was against Alabama, true freshman. So if you're the best player, you will play. The thing that Brandon really has an opportunity to do is learn from guys that have kind of gone before him, or kind of paving that trail, and then with the added benefit of actually competing for playing time, competing to be a contributor, and he's just pushing himself every day. He's got a chance to see how we do things in the summer, how we do spring ball, and I think that allowed him to kind of hit the ground running in fall camp. So the best players will play. And obviously they got to show us that at practice, and show us that with their consistency. So.
Josh Geske made some strides in the spring. Has that continued into fall camp?
Yeah, I think Geske, since he's been here, has continued to make strides and develop. I got to give him a lot of credit. When he came in, it was not something maybe I foresaw this quickly, and he has done nothing but impress you in terms of his work ethic and how he trains, how he develops, how he's changed his body, and continues to get better and better and better. And he's become very, very dependable, and had a good spring. Had even maybe a better summer. I mean, he looks different if you get a chance to see him. I mean, he just how he's changed his body. I'm very, very excited to see where he can go.
Well, we're talking about the freshmen. What have you seen from TJ and Zach? I know Zach obviously got here later, but what have you seen from them since you've been able to see them out on the field?
Well, TJ, again, another guy that benefited very much from having spring practice and spring football, being here all summer. Zach was more traditional in terms of when he got here, kind of the summer, like most freshmen do. And so everything we saw in recruiting, everything we saw in developing the relationships with them and their families and the character, their work ethic, their physicality, all those traits hold true. There's not one of those where we're sitting back and say, okay, I don't know if that's really what we saw. I think we're all very, very excited to see the future of that group and to see the future of that class, because I think they're very, very talented. And now comes the development piece. Now comes pushing yourself to become better each day, and that's kind of where they both are right now. And TJ's got a little bit of maybe a head start just because he got here sooner, but very, very pleased with both those guys.